2000 Audi Q5 Quattro, doing refrigerant recovery on this one, and it is pure R134 or 1234, no air content, so that's a good job there. This is a 2020 brand new little fender bender. This got cracked, and because this got cracked and it goes around the lines, the coolant heat exchanger, the condenser for the air conditioning, and the radiator, this little 50-cent part, which is probably about $50, I have to come out here and do a recovery. And because of this little 50-cent part, here's $70 to recover the refrigerant. And I'm looking for, it looks like, I think the refrigerant sticker was probably located on something that has already been removed, because I don't see it out here anywhere. So this is probably a bit over a pound, so we're probably almost $300 in refrigerant just to charge this back up at $150 a pound. Labor and everything like that, the end and total bill, because just this little plastic 50-cent piece needs to be replaced, will probably be approaching $600, $500 just to replace this. Because of this, all this has to be done. And look at the complexity of this heat exchanger coming here. Okay, so here we got right here, let's scope this out. Here's your coolant. So there's your coolant tubes over there, right here, upper, lower. Here's your condenser right here. Here's the connectors coming over here. Now let's follow these connectors. Check this out. This is not your grandfather's Oldsmobile. Okay? Just check the liquid line out. Check this out. Where are we going? Let's follow this. We're going into something here, which is a one-way valving of some sort. I am not familiar with this Audi system. So it's a 2020. And this is the good thing about getting to see vehicles that are only a few months old. I get to see this stuff, and I get to see it torn down, because you can never get to this when you're a regular technician and this rolls in the shop to really study how this stuff works, where's its locations at. So here's your liquid line, high pressure refrigerant coming right here. Now let's look at it really close. So it doesn't look like it has no porting that goes into this block, but yet it has this block that has a plug in it, and either it's for passages or they have some sort of spring-loaded valve under pressure there. Then we have another one-way, because you can tell by the arrow right there. There's another one-way valve right there, and back in there, there's another one-way valve, and then you have this one-way valve. And let's get way down to look the hell back down in there. So you can tell this is another plug up here. So this was the plug down here, and this is the plug up here. Now by the looks of that, these both go into this that has a chamber that's drilled out to go into this one right here. This is still liquid, because there's our section over there. There's our liquid over there. And then we can see our suction lines. So here and here we have a trinary switch. It looks like we have, I'm not going to run off and say that this is refrigerant, because it might be coolant, and they're subcooling coolant. I do see a heat exchanger, a plate heat exchanger. Look at that right there. Plate heat exchanger with coolant lines going in the top, coolant line going in the bottom. And I also see a refrigerant line. Let's look a little careful. Okay, you see that coolant line with the writing on it? Now look behind it at that fitting there. That is a refrigerant line. So we're chilling the coolant. And why are we chilling this coolant? So you have to track all this stuff out to find out where it's going, what it's doing. Okay, here's some more lines. Are these refrigerant here? Yes, they are. Okay, so here is the high pressure vapor. Now let's follow the high pressure vapor. Check this out. So our high pressure vapor is going into this humongous ass module right here with a whole bunch of one-way valves in it, and up here, but let's keep following this. It comes out here. This is starting to look like the Prius Prime with a heat pump. So we're coming here, we're coming down, we're going down. Let me see if I move this out of the way. We also go into the same block that has the liquid line going in it too. So we have the vapor and the liquid. Oh, this is gonna take some studying. And like my dad used to say, he says, you haven't seen nothing yet, and this is when I was a teenager. He says, wait until cars have to do thermal management when they're cooling off large, high amperage electronics and they start using heat pumps. Now, this is before high school and entering high school. My dad was telling me about wait until cars start using heat pumps and thermodynamics. It'll be the rule of the game when you get older. Well, I'm older now and it's here. And my dad foreseen this back 40 years ago. He said, you ain't seeing nothing yet. Now I'm following this, going back, and we're getting lost back there. I see that blue writing on a hose right there. Yeah, this is one. Okay, then we're going to, I think, a three-way valve here. Yep, that's a three-way valve. 1, 2, 3. There'll be wires on the bottom of it, and it's a solenoid motor. We got a three-way T there, a three-way T there. Oh, joyous fun, especially for those guys who top off with tap water or go into a cheap gas station who says they're going to do a coolant flush and they get the plain Jane cheap antifreeze that you have to add water, and they go and add tap water. And as we all know, tap water has lots of calcium in it. It has lots of magnesium in it, and usually has lots of iron in it and other trace minerals and maybe alkaline. And you add that with your coolant and you have a beautiful electrolyte. What is that going to do to all these heat exchangers and all the valving and all the aluminum piping? So where else do we go over here? A lot of this is just freaking out of your sight, man. I can see the top of the compressor. Okay, you see that orange wire back there? There's your high voltage wire, one of them. And then in front of it, right there, I'm trying to center on the fitting right there. That's the top of your compressor. And then just over there, you see a switch. So we have a sensor right there on that compressor. I'm trying to cruise all this stuff back. Well, I'll tell you what, guys. We have a beautiful electric compressor here. Let me guess. I'm not even going to look up the price of this compressor, but it's an Audi. So you know everything on the Audi starts at $3,000 and up. I'm going to guess just this compressor is $3 grand. Now look where this compressor is located. Let's do some alignment here. Here's the front of the engine, right here. The compressor sticks out about 1 inch or 2 inches in front of the engine. So if you take any frontal collision, straight on collision, not even a big one, or a little bit to the side of the collision, you're literally going to smack that compressor and it'll be taken out every time. And looking at the little ears that it's held on by and little 8-10 millimeter bolts, oh yeah, we got some money coming up here. Then I know the aftermarket guys are going to want to make cheaper condensers, and in this case you already have something blocking your condenser, adding heat from your coolant in front of your condenser. So how many fins per inch and how many coolant tubes you have is extremely important when you start putting heat loads in front of your heat exchanger to get rid of heat. You're putting heat intentionally right in front of it. So this, your condenser, is the really weak link. If it has added heat in it. Then we have another heat exchanger here. Here's our intercooler for our turbo. You got heat here. And I don't have no more time to go. I got to get this show on the road. And this is why you always carry multiple. I have 3 of these, so I never have to worry. If I'm in a shop that gives me 5 or 6 cars at one time to do recoveries on, I just whip them out. And by the time I finish doing the analyzing of the first gas, you know, putting on, I hook up the third, the first one is done, and I could start the recovery machine on the first vehicle. Then I run over to the second analyzer, and that should be finishing up, hook up my tank and recovery unit to it and start it. Then run over to the third vehicle, and you just start hopping, and by the time you get to your third unit, you can run over and grab your first unit that's all done and transfer it over to the fourth car, then run back to the second car, undo that equipment because now it's done. By the time you've done that, go to your fifth car, and you could do this hop where you keep going back and forth and rotating around. You get really good and efficient, and one guy could bang out a lot of cars in one day if you have all the equipment he's supplied with and he knows how to use it and becomes proficient at it. You could have one guy do the same amount of work as 3 guys. That's it for today, and I'll see you guys later. 2020 Audi Q5. They call it the S line. Yeah, this is so new, I'm not even familiar with it. It's a Quattro model. Let's see if we have any heating and cooling back here anywhere that I can see. Any lines? No, they have it all shielded off on the bottom. I can't see anything. Yeah, everything on this car is hidden behind stuff. It'd be, I think, no, they're not tearing into a quarter panel. I wish they were tearing into a quarter panel so we can see what kind of battery management system they have. Oh, here's our battery management system. Oh, they are tearing into it. They're looking for damage. Yeah, so they're tearing into it, looking for any other damage that needs to be done. Beautiful. You take a little side hidden pack right here, gone. Okay. A lot of coolant there. We're gonna cool off a lot of this coolant because when you're making all this heat from your inverter and from your battery management system and your batteries, that's what all those coolant lines are coming back here, cooled off by the air conditioning. No air conditioning, no charging. All right, gentlemen, welcome to our new world. Thermal management, not air conditioning, not heating, but thermal management. See you guys.